Breaking news, we go live now to Vatican City in Rome, where a new pope has been elected by the Catholic Conclave.
Thousands are gathering right now in St. Peter's Square to welcome Pope Jorge Bergoglio of Argentina. He'll be known as Pope Francis I and is the first pontiff to hail from South America. A new pope has been elected by the Catholic Conclave in Rome. On the second day of deliberation, Catholics filling Vatican Square rejoice as white smoke billowed from the Sistine Chapel chimney. This signals the selection of a new pontiff. Pope Francis, an Argentinian, is the first pontiff from South America. He has been chosen by a council of 115 cardinals. A winner must receive at least 2/3 of the votes. The papal Twitter account, which was put on hold when Benedict XVI resigned, has been reactivated.
Omnipotentis, Patris, et Filii, et Spiritus Sancti, descenda super vos, et maniat semper. Amen.
From one election to another, Marc Garneau was pulled out of the race for leadership of the Federal Liberal Party. The Montreal MP ended his bid for the top job.
Enormously touched by the support that people have given me for the approach that I have taken, but I'm also conscious numbers don't lie.
The Montreal MP ended his bid for the top job today, saying he has no chance of beating frontrunner Justin Trudeau. His team's poll numbers had Garneau at 15% support compared to the 72% held by Trudeau.
Veteran astronaut Chris Hadfield is going nowhere Canadian has gone before. He's taking command of the International Space Station, currently orbiting the Earth at a speed of 8 kilometers per second. The 53-year-old former test pilot is leading a crew of Americans and Russians. Hadfield is a social media sensation, tweeting breathtaking images daily to more than 500,000 fans. He's the first Canadian to command the ISS.
3 women are in hospital following a shooting early this morning in a Brampton strip club. Police were called to the Office Gentlemen's Club near Steeles Avenue East and Torbram Road around 1:30 this morning. The wounded women were patrons of the club. 2 of the victims are listed in critical condition at Brampton Civic Hospital. The third suffered non-life-threatening injuries and is expected to be released from hospital today.
The preliminary hearing of accused killer Luca Magnotta continues today in a Montreal courtroom. The father of victim Ling Young is not in court this afternoon. He left the courtroom yesterday in tears after seeing evidence in the trial. The court took time today to allow the judge to consider a potential conflict of interest on the defense team. Magnotta is accused of first-degree murder in the May 2012 death of Young.
A 25-year-old Burlington man is under arrest in a child luring case. Ian Williams Woods allegedly contacted boys over social media for sexual purposes. Police say the suspect used Facebook, Skype, and other apps to contact potential victims. He faces 6 charges, including attempted sexual interference and luring a child under 16.
Halton's police chief is expressing concern over the new Citizens Arrest and Self-Defense Act. He is stressing that police remain best equipped to safely apprehend suspects. The criminal code now says citizens' arrests can take place within a reasonable period of time after a crime is committed. The new law is inspired by Chinatown store owner David Chen, who was charged with assault after chasing down and tying up a shoplifter.
A funeral is being held today for the 5-year-old girl who was struck by a garbage truck on her way home from school last week.
The picture you see, that's her. She smiled from the time she woke up in the morning till the time she went to bed.
Kaylee Callahan Belanger was walking with 2 other children and a teenage babysitter when she was hit. The 64-year-old driver has not been charged as police continue their investigation. Residents say speeding vehicles are a problem in the area.
The next stage of the TTC Spadina subway extension is underway. The $2.6 billion transit line is stretching almost 9 kilometers from Downsview Station to Vaughan Metropolitan Centre. This is the first time the Transit Commission is extending outside of Toronto's borders. Service isn't expected until fall 2016. The Canadian Food Inspection Agency is issuing a recall of a deli meat sold at Costco. The Formaggio brand product, a type of deli meat wrapped around fresh mozzarella, may be contained with listeria. The product was sold at Costco stores in central and eastern Canada over the past month. There have been no reported illnesses so far. The Sheridan Elder Research Centre opened its doors today to take interest in students.
And what we do at the Sheridan Elder Research Centre is applied research. So it's research that very often involves students from Sheridan College.
The function was part of a Lunch and Learn series, events intended to build connections between the center and Sheridan students. The goal of this SERC is improve the quality of life for older adults and their families.
Canadian Blood Services say that if 500 people give blood, then 100 patients can receive cancer treatment. They're holding a donor clinic at Sheridan's Trafalgar Road Campus Gymnasium tomorrow between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. Check out www.blood.ca for more information.
Student Union Board of Directors elections are coming up in the next few weeks. But did you even know there was an election? As we found out, not many students do. Reporter Stephen Pike has more on the story.
Well, we're trying to make it as easy as possible for people to basically participate in the election.
Posters like these have been popping up all over the Trafalgar Road campus recently. They're advertising for the upcoming Sheridan Student Union Board of Directors elections. But it's only the bottom couple of lines that actually talk about the elections themselves. We checked in with Sheridan students to see if they knew what the posters were for.
Not at first glance, no.
It may look like it's for if somebody's outside and it's late and they need to be walked to the school or somewhere safely.
All the information about the poster is right here in the small print, and I don't think a lot of people read that, so I think it causes a lot of confusion.
Oh, wow. So it's actually for the elections, like an election or something, I think? Yeah? Yeah. Wow, I don't know. I don't see that when I look at it.
Well, the advertising strategy was made up. Maybe some things weren't as great as they could be, but our advertising model is changing rapidly, and you will be seeing a new poster come out for the actual votings in a week's time.
Student Union Board of Directors makes many important decisions around the school, such as what food vendors can sell things in the cafeteria. The Student Union wants you to have a say in who makes these decisions and are asking all students to vote once the polls open.
Students will have to wait to see if in the upcoming week Sheridan Student Union keeps to their word about improved advertising and new posters for the voting process of the election. For Ion Sheridan, I'm Stephen Pike, Oakville.
Executives from 3 major Las Vegas casinos are gambling on Toronto's university and college students. Caesars, MGM, and Sands are in the city recruiting Ryerson and George Brown hospitality majors in the event that City Council approves the construction of a casino resort. The execs say the operation would create 10,000 permanent jobs and carry an average salary of $50,000. MGM is proposing a massive 1,200-room hotel with a shopping mall and a stage for Cirque du Soleil. You might need one of those casino jobs if you're a sports fan. Supporters of the Maple Leafs and Raptors should expect to pay more for tickets next season. Maple Leaf Sports and Entertainment, parent company of Toronto's hockey and basketball teams, announced a 2.5% increase on ticket prices starting in 2013. The increase in ticket prices comes despite the Leafs not making the playoffs since 2004 and the Raptors since 2008.
Will the rise of ticket prices keep the fans from going to the games? I guess we'll just have to wait and see. But coming up after the break, we'll take a look at international news around the world.
And a new study on Facebook likes. Stay tuned.
Welcome back. You might think the story of Sleeping Beauty is a fairy tale, but Klein-Levin syndrome, also known as Sleeping Beauty syndrome, is one of the rarest disorders ever discovered. It has no known cause, diagnostic test, treatment, or cure. Emily Johnson introduces us to a teen who has slept away 100 days of her life.
Caitlin Tarana is a 17-year-old student from Stony Creek, Ontario. She suffers from a rare sleeping disorder known as Klein-Levin syndrome.
No, it's not just sleeping for 10 days. I don't remember anything. I can't focus.
She was only diagnosed this past June, despite having symptoms since she was 15. These symptoms include excessive amounts of sleep, binge eating, amnesia of the episode, an altered mental state, and cognitive impairment that leads to confusion and the inability to focus.
It's like a zombie-like episodes they have. They don't have empathy. They don't know what they're doing.
Due to her altered mental state, someone always has to be keeping an eye on her.
Caitlin, you have to get up now, hon.
It's definitely not safe for her to be on her own when she's in one of those episodes. The brain doesn't know what's right and what's wrong at that time. It's half sleeping.
Caitlin has had to give up on the idea of going to university with her classmates as she is only able to take half of her grade 12 courses.
And we're hoping that it doesn't last 10 years for her, but we don't know.
Caitlin will continue to visit her doctor at McMaster University every 6 months. On the bright side, the disorder disappears in most cases when patients reach their 20s. In the meantime, she hopes to increase awareness for KLS through telling her story and to raise funds for research that is being conducted at Stanford University in California. Now we go back to the desk.
French Prime Minister Jean-Marc Ayrault begins his four-city Canadian tour in Ottawa today. First up, he'll sit with Stephen Harper to discuss economic ties, including free trade with the European Union. Ayrault will meet with Ontario Premier Kathleen Wynne tomorrow before heading to Montreal and Quebec City for the weekend.
The Dutch government is raising its terror threat level from limited to substantial. The move is in response to fears Dutch citizens traveling to Syria to fight in the civil war could return radicalized, battle-hardened, and traumatized. The country's counterterrorism chief says an attack in the Netherlands or against Dutch interests abroad has risen. He stated nearly 100 people have traveled from the country to the Middle East to fight in the conflict.
Saudi Arabia has publicly executed 7 men convicted of several armed robberies they committed as minors. Despite an appeal by the United Nations and Amnesty International, the death penalty was carried out by firing squad rather than the customary beheading. This brings the total number of executions in Saudi Arabia this year to 26.
Workers in China are continuing to remove the carcasses of thousands of dead pigs from a river in Shanghai. Now, just a warning, some viewers may find these pictures a little disturbing. Over 6,000 dead pigs have been removed from the Huangpu River. The pigs began appearing in the river last Thursday. Authorities are blaming farmers upriver for improperly disposing of their livestock. They say water supplies have not been affected and tap water in the city is still safe to drink.
The FBI continues to investigate a website that posted personal and financial information about First Lady Michelle Obama, pop star Beyonce, and 16 other politicians and celebrities. Hackers using a Russian website address listed social security and telephone numbers, addresses, and credit reports. Authorities fear this information could be used in identity theft scams or for stalking purposes. Facebook users may be revealing a lot about themselves through their use of the like button. Cambridge University researchers use algorithms to predict politics, race, religion, and sexual orientation based on the online preferences of over 58,000 Facebook users. Their likes were measured against profile information, survey information, and test scores. Attributes such as gender, race, and sexuality were accurately predicted nearly 90% of the time or higher.
Time to unlike everything on my Facebook. When we come back, we'll have all your latest news in sports and entertainment.
A recap of some NHL action last night and a memorial for a Canadian music legend. All this and more after the break.
Welcome back. Before we head over to Colin, here's a different breed of sport. In Alaska, a winner is declared in the 2013 Iditarod Trail Sled Dog Race. 53-year-old Mitch Seavey and his 10-dog team crossed the finish line in 9 days, 7 hours and 39 minutes. The prize? $50,000 and a new pickup truck. I sure hope someone throws those dogs a bone. Seavey previously won in 2004. Now, from Iditarod to D-Rod. Fresh from his visit to North Korea, Dennis Rodman is now in Vatican City, where he offered to help choose a new pope. The former basketball star says he's interested in meeting the newly elected pontiff. He's been advocating for the election of the first black pope, but when pressed, the name of Cardinal Peter Turkson of Ghana seemed to escape him. We've heard about one basketball legend. Let's find out what else is going on in the sports world. Colin?
Thanks, Justin. The landscape of the NFL has seen a massive shift over the last 24 hours with the opening of the league's free agent signing period. Several big names are already off the market, like former Giants defensive tackle Chris Canty. He's a beast. He signed in Baltimore. The Dolphins, they're also going to get a big boost to their receiving core with the addition of former Steeler Mike Wallace. And longtime Raven Paul Kruger will also be making a new home in Cleveland, Ohio. You can expect plenty more movement today with star players like Ed Reed and Wes Welker still without contracts. Over to the NHL now, where the Toronto Maple Leafs took to the frozen tundra of Winnipeg to face off with the Jets. First period, Leafs forward Phil Kessel picks the pocket of big Dustin Byfuglien. He sneaks in and snipes his 9th of the year to put the Buds on the board. We will jump to the third now. Evander Kane does his best Patrick Swayze impression with some dirty dancing. He goes top cheese, and it would be all for James Reimer, who get the hook in his hometown. Winnipeg would take it by a final score of 5-2. NHL disciplinarian Brendan Shanahan will be busy today after this questionable hit by former league MVP Corey Perry. The Ducks star left his feet and made contact with the head of Minnesota forward Jason Zucker. Trainers tended to Zucker for several minutes on the ice. Perry, meanwhile, was given a 5-minute major and a game misconduct. A telephone hearing is slated for today to determine Perry's punishment. Some local rough stuff now as Major Series Lacrosse is set to bring the pro game to the city of Oakville. Brent Brown has the latest on the proposed relocation.
The Ajax Rock are involved in a deal that could bring a lacrosse team here to the town of Oakville. We spoke to the Rock's head coach about the possible move.
It's going to add more parity in the league. It's going to help all teams compete. It also saves on travel. Oakville's pretty central for all the teams. So it cuts costs, and we're able to put more money back into players, equipment, things like that.
If the MSL's Ajax Rock do decide to make the move, this will be their new home here in Oakville.
I think it more has to do with the lacrosse community in Oakville. I think Oakville is one of the fastest growing communities for lacrosse over the last couple of years. Their minor organization is growing leaps and bounds, and we're hoping to move there for a positive influence to give a major series team to a good town, a growing town, and a good community.
There are still a few obstacles in the way. In order for the deal to be finalized, the process has to go through a board of governors that have the final say.
There's two obstacles. The first obstacle is our league, MSL, approving the move, which they did last Sunday. The next approval stage is the OLA, the Ontario Lacrosse Association, has to sign off on it. And that's the stage we're at right now.
This could be the new home for lacrosse here in Oakville. The OLA just has to approve those papers. Reporting for the Ion Sheridan, I'm Brent Brown, Oakville.
It is time now for a highlight of the night, and that comes to us from Brooklyn, New York, where Darren Williams dishes to a trailing Brooke Lopez, who crowns his twin brother, Robin. You mad, bro? Let's have one more look now as Brooke puts it on the floor and slams home some brotherly love. You can bet he got a stern call from mom last night. That's all for sports. Let's go to entertainment with Mary Catherine. MK, I understand you've got something Canadian hockey fans might want to hear about.
That's right, Colin. The public memorial for iconic Stompin' Tom Connors is tonight. Connors died March 6th at the age of 77 and will be remembered for his many classics, including Bud the Spud and the Hockey Song. The event will be held at the Peterborough Memorial Center, and it'll feature tributes to the artist by various public features, from folk singer Sylvia Tyson to former Governor General Adrian Clarkson. You can watch the entire memorial live on ctvnews.ca starting at 7 p.m. tonight. Fandom was in full force at the latest Comic-Con, and our reporter Nathan Peters entered Warp Drive to bring you all the action.
A long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, there were giant lineups weaving back and forth. There were drones and clones, Spider-Man and Legos. This is Comic-Con. Toronto Comic-Con is a convention held by HobbyStar, which has been around for 13 years. The convention is a hotspot for fans of comics and movies.
I came to Comic-Con because I enjoy the scene of everybody liking to dress up, looking around, finding people that, are supposed to be your arch enemies.
I love seeing other people's costumes. I like seeing the artwork. I have several friends that are artists at booths here, so it's nice to see them and kind of earn their livelihood.
The environment is really nice. All the people are awesome, and I love to cosplay and dress up and all that stuff.
That is acceptable to the Daleks!
Within the event, it's not just the costumes and celebrities that bring people in. There are many vendors that set up at Comic-Con to sell and promote their products.
We will always sell Fables. Right now, Legend of Zelda, like the Hyrule story, that's our bestseller right this second. Like Peter Panzerfaust got bigger, Batman, but it changes.
Comic-Con is the best place to dress up as your favorite superhero and villain and experience the life of an immortal character. Reporting for Ian Sheridan, I'm Nathan Peters.
Thanks, Nathan. I'm sure it was pretty cool to see people dress up as their favorite superheroes. Speaking of heroes, Field Entertainment is announcing a partnership today with Marvel. They will produce a live arena show featuring Marvel's iconic characters from Spider-Man to even the Hulk. The show will premiere in 2014. The world-renowned book, The Great Gatsby, is coming to the big screen for a second time.
The restlessness approached.
I will tell you God's truth. God's truth about myself. I am the son of some very wealthy people. Sadly, they're all dead now.
New York, 1922. The tempo of the city had changed sharply.
Baz Luhrmann's version of the classic novel will open at the Cannes Festival in France. The film features Leonardo DiCaprio, Carey Mulligan, and Tobey Maguire as the leads. The Cannes Film Festival will take place on May 15th to 26th. The legendary singer-songwriter Bob Dylan has become the first rock star voted into the American Academy of Arts and Letters. The 71-year-old musician joins current members including Woody Allen and Meryl Streep. Dylan has reportedly accepted his membership graciously and will attend the Academy's awards in April or the induction ceremony in May. Oh, how the tables have turned on Judge Judy. The reality judge is reportedly being sued over expensive dishes. The suit states that the judge purchased the fine china from her show's producer for $50,000 when it was actually worth over $500,000. Judge Judy told TMZ that, to her knowledge, the lawsuit doesn't exist. And it was about time for pop's country star Taylor Swift to get a male vocalist. But who knew it would be Channel 4's Ron Burgundy? In a video created on YouTube, a user made a perfect mashup of Swift singing and Will Ferrell screaming.
Now I'm lying on the cold, hard ground.
I'm in a glass case of emotion.
I guess Taylor knew Ron Burgundy was trouble when he walked in. And that's all for entertainment. Let's head back to Chanel and Justin at the desk.
Thanks, MK. How's the weather looking, Chanel?
Hopefully nice and sunny. When we return, Gurnik Singh has your full 5-day forecast. Keep watching.
Welcome back. Now a recap of our top story. A new pope has been elected by the Catholic conclave in Rome. Pope Francis I from Argentina is the first pontiff to hail from South America. He's also the first Jesuit pope. Latin America currently has the largest Catholic population in the world. Francis is known for modernizing an Argentine church, which was previously known as being very conservative. Thousands are gathering right now in St. Peter's Square as cathedral bells ring out in celebration. He has been chosen by a council of 115 cardinals. A winner must receive at least 2/3 of the votes. Francis was the second runner-up when Benedict was elected in 2005. The papal Twitter account, which was put on hold when Benedict XVI resigned, has been reactivated. It now reads, "We have found a new pope." So Chanel, how's that weather looking?
Well, I don't know, but gray skies have been getting me down. Let's head over to Gurnik Singh with your weather update. Gurnik?
Thanks, guys. So from a t-shirt and short weather from last Saturday to a winter jacket today, spring is so close and we're looking forward to some great weather. But first, we can look at the temperatures across Canada. Starting with the beautiful Vancouver, they're sitting at a high of 10. Beautiful weather. Moving along to Edmonton with a high of -6, pushing towards Winnipeg. Not too bad. They're sitting at a high of -11. Jumping to Montreal with a high of 4. Can't complain about that. Heading to Halifax, they're sitting at a high of 11. Amazing weather. Lastly, the average Joe St. John's at a high of 7. Man, Vancouver, I would love to live there. But I love my Leafs, I love my city, so let's take a quick look at the 5-day forecast. Tomorrow, thankfully, the rain and snow will evaporate and the sun will be out, but the cold weather will remain. So keep those jackets on. We'll be looking at a high of -1 and a low of -7. Moving towards the weekend, Friday, the big bad scattered flurries will crawl back in, leaving temperatures at a high of 3 and a low of -4, as well keeping those roads slippery. So drive carefully if you're heading out for the weekend. So this Saturday will not be the same weather we experienced last Saturday, but at least there isn't snow. In the forecast, temperatures will reach a high of -1 and a low of -5. Sunday will be mostly cloudy with a high of 0 and a low of -7. Then Monday, Sheridan, we can finally relax with some sunshine of a high of 2 and a low of -6. Well, that's your 5-day forecast. Just a few obstacles, Sheridan, but we can manage. Overall, the weather conditions are not too bad. So for you troopers out there, still wear a winter jacket. Remember, it's still cold and spring's not here yet. So that's it. But that's all for the weather. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Gurnik. That's all the time we have for today on Eye on Sheridan. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Justin Goulet.
And I'm Chanel Willette. Have a safe and wonderful weekend.